Hi and welcome everyone. I am your host, Jason the Wise. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about organic content marketing. Now, those of you that know or that have been subscribed to my channel are aware that I own a cleaning business. Actually, at the end of this month, we have completely closed our doors. Our issue was not with getting enough clients. Our issue was that we could not find people that wanted to come to work. So sit back, enjoy this video, and make sure that you have your notebook because you're going to want to take some notes. Let's talk about content marketing and doing it organically. All right, so let's break this down very simply. What is it that you currently have? Okay, and the average business or the average company or contractor, what they use is they use an SEO, a search engine optimization company. And pre-pandemic, an SEO, perfect way to go. You could still diversify if you want, but I mean, Google was up and running and humming. Well, post-pandemic and post-election, Google has been taking a lot of hits. So if you do not have your business moving in the right direction and diversifying the way that you get your business, you could be in trouble. Okay, because you're doing one of two things with an SEO. You are either paying them for organic marketing, which is what I did. So what they do is they build a website, they put a lot of key search terms in there, and so when people do key search terms, your website will show up at the top of websites. But a lot has changed since I started that many years ago, because it used to be that you would have Google Ads, and then you would have Google My Business, and then you would have your organic marketing. And so you were third on the list. People would scroll down to you pretty easy. And then they started adding, the Google verified, and then you've got Google Ads, and then you've got Google My Business, and then you're now in position number 4. People have to scroll a lot farther. It becomes a lot harder to be seen. People started losing traffic because Google, what they want to do is keep everybody on their landing page. And so now they have a specific software or algorithm that will try and answer the question for you. So not only do you have to compete with the Google verified, the Google Ads, then Google answering the question for you without them even really scrolling down, because Google is answering the question for them. So as a business who wants to organically build your empire on Google, it's become so much harder that you're now in the 5th spot. And in the 5th spot, people aren't going to scroll down there. And they did this starting in January of 2020, is when they brought in this whole Google wants to answer your question. And when that happened, organic traffic went down by 30%. And depending on what industry you were in, it could have gone down up to 40%. Okay, so there was a huge loss. And this is because Google is in the business of making money. It may endorse socialism and communism. However, they are a very capitalistic company. And so they are ran by the almighty dollar. And with these guys doing this, what is created is now the only way that you can actually live and grow your business on Google is to pay to play. So if you're not part of their Google verified system, which it's very stringent qualifications, I went through that with my business. We just ran into a snag, and I never did get verified, but it was because there was a glitch in their system. And then, if you're not part of the Google verified, then you're part of the Google Ads program, and you're paying how much per click, and how many calls, how much traffic, how much are you having to spend to get a new client? Because now Google has decided, okay, we're going to charge you this much to get you a new client. And they understand through their algorithms how to be able to push people to you, but you just got to pay them the right amount. because they're a capitalistic company. Okay, so what do you as a business do in 2021 and go, well, I need to be able to survive, especially if you're a small business and you don't have the $5,000 a month or the $20,000 a month or the $30 and $150,000 a month that Google wants you to throw at them so that you can actually run a viable and scalable business. What do you do? And that's the question that I'm going to answer for you here today. And this is what I did. So I ended up getting rid of my SEO because I noticed that Google was going to be going down because they were censoring, and there was a lot of rattling of sabers, and DuckDuckGo was getting a lot of publicity because of it. So every time there's a censor issue, DuckDuckGo gets a plethora of new users to go on their search engine because it allows you to keep your anonymity. And when you search for things, it is a true organic search. But is your SEO actually marketing you on that platform? The answer is no. They will tell you yes, they are, but the answer is actually no, they're not. Because on DuckDuckGo, if you're not registered with Apple Maps, which they did not with you, your SEO most likely did not register you with Apple Maps, unless it's something they've done recently in the last couple of months. Your SEO has not solicited for reviews for your Yelp listing. Now, they set you up with a Yelp listing, but they're not really trying to get reviews for it. They're trying to get reviews for Google. They're trying to get reviews through the Google platform and keep people, coming back to the Google platform. But the thing is you're missing out on now 10% of possible traffic because about 10% of the overall searches are now gone over to DuckDuckGo. And because DuckDuckGo is able to take up those, take that portion of the market share, they're doing their own advertising, but they're doing it through MSN and through Yahoo, and they're doing partner programs so that those guys can go out there and the advertising agencies can make money. Because DuckDuckGo, that's just one thing that they don't seem to be doing. So, one of my biggest problems when my profile was deleted off of Google for 6 months for some glitch, I don't even know what happened, but my profile was deleted for 6 months, and because I didn't have anything on DuckDuckGo, I couldn't get even that small little 10% of traffic just to kind of keep me going while I was trying to fix the glitch with Google. And if I would have known, or if somebody would have told me, or if I would have been more informed, then I would have started soliciting for reviews on Yelp. But because everybody kept saying, oh yeah, Google's all you need, Google's all you will ever need. That's not true. Google is not all you need or all you will ever need. So at this point in time, I was not able to get traffic coming, but I learned a lot of important lessons that I can now pass on to you since I learned them the hard way. And so if you're a business and you're looking at it and you're going, okay, I've got Google, I need to start getting marketed with DuckDuckGo. Are there advertising agencies that will do that for you? Yes and no. You could go to Yahoo Business, but Yahoo's is gonna put you on their search engine, which really isn't gonna work with Yelp. And Yahoo's going to have their whole thing. And so you've got to rely on the amount of users that Yahoo has, which they're like out of the top 4, they're number 4. MSN's number 3, DuckDuckGo's number 2, and Google is number 1. Okay, so I mean, if you're not getting over into those platforms, you're creating a disservice for yourself. Okay, next, the other thing that I learned is that Google was censoring me. So anytime I said that I was offering a COVID-19 disinfection service, Google would shut me down and they would say, you're in violation of our terms and service because you are not allowed to profit off of a pandemic. It's like, well, I'm a janitorial business. This is my normal course of business. Well, the thing is, you have to figure out when you're getting censored because something that's going on directly affects your industry. You still need to be able to market. If it wasn't for me going over on Facebook and starting to build a following, because see, here's the thing about Facebook. You want to be able to get a following, and because what happens is every time you post content, let's say you have a thousand followers, then what happens is when you post content, now it goes into their news feed, and now you have 1,000 people that are free, that are looking at your advertising and looking at your content that you have to offer, because you have exclusive rights because they chose to follow you. And if they like that, then they can pass it on to their friends. Plus, as it goes into their newsfeed, there are going to be new people that are suggested because of the search terms that you use around it, which then is going to start building an organic following. Because let's say Google goes out, let's say DuckDuckGo goes out. Well, there are people that are using the Facebook engine that because you have 10,000 followers or 50,000 followers or 100,000 followers, now you've got 100,000 impressions that you can put out there that you don't have to pay a dime for, because you grew it organically, because people liked your content, they liked the things that you were putting out. And so with content marketing, you're building a relationship with your customer and with your community, and this is something that will set you as a small business aside from these large corporations, because people are getting fed up with large corporations. They see how they're monopolizing everything and they're pushing the mom and pop shops out. So this is your opportunity to be able to capitalize on that. So me as a cleaning business, I got rid of my SEO, and I started doing what I needed to do on Google to be able to keep my rankings up with my Google My Business, because Google My Business was number 3 on the list, number 3 or number 4, and so people were going to see that before they would even see my organic marketing. So there was no point in continuing the organic marketing, just to let it continue with what it already had, and to focus on making sure that my profile got put in that 3-tier rotation more often than not. And there are ways to be able to do that within Google that you don't need an SEO to do, that you can either do yourself or you can pay somebody to do for you, that will actually increase. And this is something that, if your SEO was truly intent on building you the greatest profile in the world, they would be hiring content producers to constantly be posting for you on the Google posts. Okay, so these are different things that you can use to your benefit, and you don't need to pay these guys thousands of dollars, and you don't need to pay the pay per click, because if you're an established business, that means you've got your recurring clientele. You've been in business for 5 years. My cleaning business lasted for 6 years. So, one of the things that we got used to was that by year 3, all the clients that we'd had in year 1 and year 2 were calling us back to do work, so we didn't have to work so hard on our marketing, which allowed us to continuously to grow our book of appointments, because we were getting a lot of that repeat business. So once you get to the 5-year mark, you've got enough repeat business that if you have a bad month in marketing, it's not going to hurt you. So if you make that switch over into a content marketing and building an organic reach through the different platforms, so that you're diversified, so that as things change over the next 20 and 30 years, because Google isn't going to be around for the next 20 or 30 years. Facebook is not going to be around for another 20 years. There are going to be competitors that are going to push them out of the market, and if you're not pre-positioned and already keeping up on the newer platforms that are gaining traction, then you're going to be left out in the cold, and you're going to end up paying a higher price. So it's important to get diversified. Now, I'm talking about this for 2 reasons. One is I'm going to be starting a channel that is going to be talking about content marketing and organic content marketing, what it can do for you, and how it works for business. And I will be using my business experience. And because the thing is in order to show how content marketing works, because I want to build a content marketing business, I have to have my own examples. The greatest thing, the greatest advice you could ever give somebody in life is to lead by example. And so by leading by example, that will get my customers to see that by doing things like this, it will be profitable and lucrative for them, and it will be less of a hassle. So if you are interested in having your business use my strategy, please reach out to me in the About section by clicking on my email and send me a message, and I will get it within a few days, and I will respond to you, and we will go from there. But in the meantime, I hope this information was valuable to you as a business, and I hope that you can use this and implement this in your strategies going forward.